Last night, I finally reached a milestone that I set myself as a player in Season 4. I became Unbroken. And yes, I know I'm 2 seasons late, so therefore I'm washed and a total dad gamer tots, I know. It's been a long journey, one that I'm immensely proud of, and very happy I managed to complete. Today's video is dedicated to that journey and sharing my thoughts on the experience of becoming Unbroken. Along the way, I had to learn Scrim lingo. It's cracked! Hi, my name is Ascendant Nomad, and I am your Crucible Doctor. Let's go! The whole concept of getting Unbroken really started in Season 4, when titles and seals were put into the game with Forsaken. I remember being mildly annoyed that I didn't put in the time to get good in Season 3 and its hand-holding meta, because those with the Redrix's Claymore, Jesus. Because those with the Redrix's Claymore had the advantage of being a third of the way to obtaining Unbroken. That said, it was a reality check in a lot of ways. I struggled in Year 1 a lot with a slower time to kill, often having a hard time trying to crack a 1.0 efficiency. There was a lot wrong with my game, because I was effectively trying to learn a new game with a depleted competitive population. Forsaken changed that and started feeling a lot more like the Destiny I knew and loved, and I started playing better. But I was far from the finished article. Still am, to be honest. But I'm here now with 3 legend ranks completed, so if you're struggling, then perhaps I can help you on your way. So, in order of importance, here are the lessons that I learned that made a big difference along the way. Most of these have to do with the psychological side of the game because, quite frankly, I don't see enough of that being talked about, so I'm going to talk about it. Number 1. Don't compromise on the mission. Everyone who plays comp with the view of reaching legend has one eye on achieving Unbroken. You have to remember this. The reason that it's important to remember this is that it's easier to make the harder decisions when the time comes. The decisions in question: stopping your session after a bad loss streak, calling people out on a pattern of bad play, or simply dropping them or the team to find new people to play with. If something isn't working, don't be afraid to just call it quits with those people. They're trying just the same to get where you want to be, and if you feel that you're hindering the team, or vice versa, then it's in everyone's best interest to not get tilted and just call it quits, respectfully. After all, the more you lose, the harder you make life for yourself. It's probably the toughest call to make initially because I think most of us play comp or get into PvP in general with our friends and the clans that we've created or are part of with them. So naturally there's an inclination to want to start the mission and see it through with the same people, just like you do a raid or an exotic weapon quest or gambit. But that is almost never how it ends up panning out in comp. PvP is much harder as endgame content because you're dealing with people, not a scripted program. You're dealing with motivated, learning, intelligent human beings. Some people are just not cut out for that, or do not have the temperament nor experience to deal with it. Inexperience can be corrected, but temperament is a whole other story. So you have to ask yourself, what is your mission? Is it Fabled? Is it Revoker? Is it Lunatal? Mountaintop? Not Forgotten? Or is it Unbroken? All of these are different missions, with different requirements. In the case of Unbroken, you want to be playing with the most dedicated PvP players in the game. Not necessarily the best, because the best will always be one step ahead of you, but the most dedicated. Being dedicated enough to improve, to win, to lose, and to think nothing else but ascending the PvP summit that is, currently, the competitive playlist, will put you in a special pantheon of players. If you want this, find other people who want it just as bad, if not more than you. Your mate Gary probably won't cut it. So lose the friends that you know and start making new ones that will help you reach the top. Number 2. Teammates who you gel with are more important than teammates who are good at the game. Of course you want players that are good, that goes without saying, but after a certain level, how skilled one is takes a backseat to how well you play with them, and vice versa. I think I've played with close to 15 unique fire teams for a period of time, and whilst we're all legend capable, and hell, some got Unbroken before I did, I only stuck with 3 sets of players for longer than 3 days, because quite frankly, I didn't get along with the vast majority of them. Partially on a personality level. Some were just flat out toxic, some would be perfectionists and take every loss personally to the point where it destroyed their self-confidence, Others would bark orders according to themselves, then get mad when we couldn't adjust or respond in time. I sometimes was guilty of this to some of my clanmates in the sessions we ran, but most of the time, it came down to playstyle incompatibility. The way we played the game was either too similar or too different, and whilst that's annoying to deal with, ultimately, it's fine, and it should be expected. Playstyle diversity is a very real reason as to why you can't quite click with your teammates, and when you lose, this unstructured, viscous understanding of each other, coupled with the sting of losing and or playing badly, can be too much to deal with. With the 5 teams I ran to Legend, there's one thing in common with the players I played with. I would grab a beer with them any day of the week. When we lost together, it stung, but we all picked each other up, reset, and went again. Sometimes we laughed about it. Like in Season 4, when 4 Titans running Sentinel, One-Eyed Mask, and Duskrock Blues saw fit to teabag us after they won. When things got tough, we talked it out and went again. We never finished a session where we were mad at each other, only perhaps mad at ourselves for the ways that we played or for the ways we let the team down. And we made sure not to do it again, because we were invested in everyone's success. And crucially, we communicated. We asked how we like to play and started figuring out how to accommodate everyone's strengths in a way that not only accentuated said strengths, but covered off individual weaknesses too. So when that success came, it felt so good. It felt earned. Investing your time into learning your teammates' styles just makes the bread taste that much sweeter. Number 3. Team chemistry trumps individual skill after Mythic 2. I said earlier that after a certain level, individual skill doesn't matter. I believe that level is Mythic 2, or when your glory hits 3880. That's when you start seeing less of a gap between fire teams and players of individual skill. Of course, the Drewskis, the Nefarus, and Ceridiuses of the world will stand out in a big way, but they are by far and away anomalies that can't be taken into consideration. The biggest differentiator past Mythic 2 is how well a team works together and team shots together. How well they can come together and perform round after round, game after game, is a huge factor in which team walks away with the win and which team walks away with the L. Chemistry is also something that grows naturally within a team if they like each other. Very few teams in sport reach the heights they do without everyone being on the same page. It's rare to find a top team where people don't get along at the very least. Number 4. Do not fight the meta if it cannot be fought. I'm of course referencing the infamous Lord of Wolves, which, as of the making of this video, continues to dominate the hearts, minds, smash keyboards, and summited monitors of Destiny 2 gamers everywhere. We've had meta abuse before. Season 4 was Duskrock Blues and Nova Warp, Season 5 was One-Eyed Mask, and 6 was Spectral Blades. The Revelry was Shinobi's Vow Hunters and Armamentarium Sentinel Titans. And in Season 7, the cry of the wolf is long and strong. Our team wanted to play the game we wanted to play, but eventually got to a point where even if we saw just one Lord of Wolves, we'd make the call to match it in kind. Of course, there are ways to counter it, but coordinated, aggressive play wins games. Coordinated, aggressive plays with Lord of Wolves is currently way too strong, and is banned universally from every rule set for scrims currently as a result. The second we started actively maining Lord of Wolves and getting better with it, we started winning games simply by virtue of the fact that we're starting to strategize with it, and sow a little bit of doubt in the opponent's minds. You'd be a fool not to run the absolute strongest loadout possible at the highest levels of competitive, and this season is no exception. You'll feel dirty afterwards. But if you want to win, you do what the winners do. Use the meta, then absolve yourself of your sins in quick play if necessary. Hell, if you're feeling particularly dirty, come talk to me in confession on my Discord server, The Tribe. We're dedicated to self-improvement and washing clean your conscience of the atrocities you've committed in the Crucible. I'll leave a link below that like button if you'd like to confess, or generally get gooder and play scrims. Number 5. Temet Nosce.
You know what that means? It's Latin. Means know thyself.
In the world of competitive Destiny, knowing yourself is about understanding who you really are as a player. How do you like to play? Are you aggressive? Passive? Somewhere in between? Are you better at shooting someone or reading situations? How you define yourself is up to you and the media you consume to help inform you, but the one thing you must know is that you will play better in high-stress environments if you are honest about the sort of player you are right now versus the player that you'd like to be. Soldiers aren't made on the spot. They train. They learn their strengths and weaknesses to an absolute T before they even step foot in the battlefield. You have to be honest with where you're at because only then can you start to push on and start improving yourself. Test yourself against your friends in private matches or keep a detailed log of your performances in quick play to get an idea of where your level is. Get other people's opinions in our Discord server. Gather information so you know where you're at. More importantly, know your limitations and work within them. The unique way you play Crucible is your strength. Make it stronger. Number 6. Aim for the head. I mean, duh. Get good? I'm not a big fan of just saying that, as much as I love the meme, but nothing of what I've just said will make a lick of difference unless you can hit your shots. However, the psychological side is the most overlooked part of being a good player because a lot of it is implicit rather than explicit. Getting Unbroken really isn't as simple as saying be good at the game. There's a lot more to it than knowing how to click on heads. Before we wrap up, a quick word from this channel sponsor, Bounty. Bounty is the game-changing platform that allows fans to support their favorite creators by helping pay for content they want to see. Submit your ideas to your favorite creator and vote for the best ideas from their community with your wallet. The creator chooses the idea they like best, makes the content, and gets paid for it. Content for the fans, by the fans. To learn more, click in the video description below. I just wanted to wrap up by saying that a year ago, I was completely lost as a player. I was new to PC, I was struggling to adjust to a new way of doing things, and I didn't think that there was any hope for me to come back. As someone who used to take pride and joy in carrying people through trials in Destiny 1, seeing myself be completely outmatched and outclassed in Destiny 2 was a huge kick in the nuts. My greatest flaw as a player is that I derive pleasure from winning, not from performance. So when I don't win, I don't have fun. And it was demoralizing, going loss after loss after loss. And yet, I kept going. My greatest flaw is counteracted by one of my strengths, which is that I will never, ever give up. I will keep going no matter what. I told myself back then, I will become a 2.0 efficiency player. I will become a great sniper. I will become legend. I will become Unbroken. I will become the next widely feared player in the Crucible. I always achieve what I set my sights on. And if you want it bad enough, you will seek out the tools and the information to make it so. You're only as good as your commitment to getting better. And for me, Unbroken isn't the final chapter in my journey to becoming one of the best. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, you know what to do. I'm Ascendant Nomad, and I'm your Crucible Octa. See you in the next one. Cheers.